Hi there, this is Zephyr, and we're going to continue with my Salt and Sacrifice Saltguard mod today. This is run number 2 with Mr. Mundane. We are now playing on a preliminary 1.5.3 patch, which I have worked on just a little bit over the weekend, and just kind of been experimenting with what is possible for me to accomplish in the code as it is. So one of the things that I have been able to do is this backstep on the rapier, the katana, now has invulnerability frames on it. They're really short, so don't get too excited, I guess, but they're really short. They're more about flavor, I guess, than they are about functionality. But I have tested it in functional value, and we are doing okay with it. So let's see here. We're gonna get rid of this guy here. I don't know if you saw that, but the big guy hit me right as I was in the iframe there. And so it does work. He just doesn't hit you at all. I was going to make it a hitbox thing where your hitbox is just really skinny and kind of pulled backwards, so you could still get hit from the backside. It didn't work out to be as easy as I would expect it to be. Hitboxes in Salt 2 appear to be more texture hitboxes instead of just a single hitbox. So each part of your body is a square that is being drawn onto the screen as a hitbox. And so I think everything but the weapon, maybe itself, is part of your hitbox, which still potentially creates a square around the character. Oh my goodness gracious. I am caught in this mess here. Yes, I am going to spam that attack quite a bit in this run, probably, just to test it out. So I just went with just a timer iframe. It just checks the keyframe that you're in for the animation of this weapon's attack. It's hacky, but it works. I have been told that the rapier, let's see if we have a rapier, has kind of a similar little backstep there. And so I'll probably put some iframes in there as well. They won't probably be as good, but they'll be there. And then the next step after the rapier would be the vanguard. I want to put a block. Oh, I tried to use the... Come on. That tiny little bit of windup leads to a lot of problems. There's a shimmering bud. We like those. I didn't do Venomancer on my last playtest, so I never got that shimmering bud. I never came down here. I'm still trying to reduce the number of ore drops and herb drops that you're getting from various locations. Hey, I actually broke his shielding. Ow. That was a nice parry. That was a really glitchy visual, but that was a nice parry. I'm killing these guys on purpose so that I can see if this is maybe working. We're gonna get a little bit of silver here. Hey, an ash pure. killing the haze burnt will now have a small chance of... Ow. A small chance of dropping memories. Felt that that was kind of apt. It's kind of on point. These people have kind of like lost who they are. They're enraged from the mage burn, whatever taintedness of the mages in the world. And so you use memories to upgrade your artifacts. Upgrading artifacts actually works in this mod. Bolstering artifacts normally... I was like just getting out of that animation. Overcommitting to my attacks. Oh, well, that one didn't work out. There we go. Bolstering artifacts didn't work in the past, so, you know, some stuff here... You can see that this is a level 4. In the previous video, I believe this was like 8.6 attack speed. So now it's a level 4. It's 7.0 attack speed. Lifesteal got kind of buffed up a little bit. So we do get some lifesteal from our hits. It is really not noticeable. I did nerf some of these other things. So like max health. I don't know if I got around to nerfing max health or not, but it's a little bit lower. 10 max health in the early game on a level 1 defensive artifact is just kind of crazy. I don't particularly want you to just get all your stats out of these artifacts. I want you to get some kind of unique stats and kind of optional stats. So like your damage blocked, your rolling speed, your stamina recovery, damage returned on parry, max stamina. So like 6.8 max stamina on a level 0. You get 1 stamina per level. So, and that's if you invest in it. And that's skill points. And so 6.8 max stamina is a lot. It just is a lot. And so that's something I want to reduce and kind of adjust. And I think some of the math might be wrong, because the base value for that should be something like 3, and then there's a random value of like 3. So unless you're getting like a perfect roll, and then it's a very rare, so each rarity loses 7% as a multiplier, so this would be like 85, 86% value of the maximum, and so like definitely is higher than what it probably should be. Health regen was buffed slightly, and I do mean slightly, from 0.10 to 0.15 base, and I did some other stuff with that, but similarly, like this ring right here, let's just show this off. The max health ring. Oh, hi, how you doing? I am busy. I am talking to an audience that cannot see me. Okay, there we go. We are back in here. The max health ring in the base game gave you 5% max health. It did not stack with itself very efficiently. All the charms did not stack very efficiently. So you'd get 25% of the value of the previous item, which meant that the first one would give you 5% health, and then the next one would give you, what, 1.25 health or whatever. And, well, since you're just going to be in my face, we'll just deal with that. But the ring in this game, in this mod, put back on here, it's giving us 7 health, 7.2 health or so. Do we have something? No, we're good though. Which way did he go? I didn't see. Up here somewhere. Oh, hi, how you doing? Gotta spam that attack. So the rings and charms and stuff, they're now giving more of a flat bonus. A lot of systems are now giving flatter bonuses. Fast hitter was nerfed. Partially so that you could kind of get it from other sources. So fast hitter in the base game is 15% attack speed. For whatever reason, it's 15 in this game versus 10% in the other game. And then there's faster hitter, level 2, which was 20%. So those have been nerfed from 15 and 20 to 10 and 15. But, you know, the artifacts and some other items, amulets and whatnot, do have more stuff going on for them. So while it does make some weapons slightly less unique... Did he go down here? No, he did not go down here. Of course he didn't go down here. What am I thinking? Okay. But for example, this ring, it's stamina, and it gives 3 levels. It gives 3 levels, and that's how the first game was, where it gave 3 levels of a stat. But you couldn't get health in the first game from a ring, so... Still want to see if actually pull a memory here. It's like a 3% chance, though, so... Oh, hey. Yeah. Yeah, no. No, I don't like this. I am poisoned. Poison is stronger in this mod. Be careful. In the base game, poison ticks over 60 seconds or so. In the mod, it's supposed to tick over 20, just like the first game did. Okay, that's our cue to refresh our potions and tackle this final scenario here. He's up there. Oh my goodness, that hit me? How dare you? Oh, I hit him too. Nice. Okay, let's top off for the... No. We don't even have the herbs? What's going on here? We really don't have the herbs? Okay, I actually appreciate that happening. We are out of ore and we are out of herbs. Gotta watch my... Watch for that pullback when he does that attack. Oh, I haven't fixed this yet, but the idea is that you shouldn't be able to... Shouldn't be able to hit, like, 4 times when you're doing the drop move, but... Okay, that's gonna trigger... There we go. You get iframes when you're stabbing things. Holy moss spear. I got 4 of them. And then 2 more. Wait, what? I got a twin and 6 moss spear off of that one guy. That seems massively excessive. I don't know what triggered that to happen. I have been messing with the add item function, but I didn't mess with that. So I don't know what would have caused that to trigger like that. Too bad I can only use mundane weapons in this run. That's disappointing. That's a lot of, truly a lot of moss spears. Is there anything worth crafting from him? No. No, there isn't. Searching haze burnt residue recovers health. Okay. So this is one of those things that I would just remove. Straight out, just delete it. I'd probably make this a defensive amulet, maybe, instead of defensive ring, just because then it's easier to balance, because then it's like looking up the charm and whatever. Poison attack is okay on the daggers. I am probably going to be removing a lot of these daggers, though, where you get cold damage or fire damage. I don't find them interesting. And what I may do instead is focus daggers on riposts. So you'd have... I got 6 ash peers from something in there. That's a lot. There's a lot of ash peers. Oh no. I do want another weapon. Oh, that's not the button I meant to press. No. Cancel should not be the same as select. This goes without saying, but just a UI thing, an interactability thing, UI, UX, whatever you want to call it. I am not a UI, UX engineer or anything like that, but if your engagement button is the same as your cancel button, don't do this. Please don't do this. I don't mind having a cancel button that is like quick and easy, but this should probably be like X instead of, well, I'm using a PlayStation controller. Cross or X, whatever, instead of circle. But it's circle to engage and circle to disengage. And then it's X to accept. And so this is it's just one of those things where like it should at least be 2 different buttons. I don't really care what they are. They just should be 2 different buttons. And they should feel pretty natural. But it's something I've been noticing a lot when playtesting this week on this game. It's just like, I don't really enjoy some of the interaction that's going on there. I'm going to take a point in vitality there. We're just kind of going into the light armor tree. These need to be removed from his inventory. Okay, now we have the short bow, or the hunter's bow. That is a lot more damage, but I need to be able to use it. Right there. I do have some... There we go. Class 1 archer. Now we have a better bow. 4 damage. 4 damage is good. Oh. I didn't decide to use that until I already was too far away from using it. We're going to upgrade the short bow because we might actually want to use it this run. Now we've got 26 damage. So about, what is that, 8 damage more? We'll talk to this person because I didn't actually have my... There we go. Now we have antidotes. That's going to help a little bit. And we got our first potion. Good stuff. We've apparently never opened this, because that's super useful. But I'm going to probably change up some of the stuff that you can get out of certain areas. We're going to attempt to take on the Electromancer. Actually, we already talked to the tree. I don't remember if we already talked to the tree. We'll pass on the Electromancer. He's kind of more of an optional boss, but we'll come back for him. We really want the nameless tokens since we're playing a mundane character. So let's see. I want to see what we're at. We're at 26 herbs with 6 in our backpack. I'm going to probably adjust this 6 in the backpack to be slightly different. It probably will scale with your upgrades. I tried to make it a static number. I just don't know that it works that way well. So I'll probably make it scale with your upgrades. But a lot of the different harvesting things, I want to change some of this. Like, how many did I get? 4? Okay, that's not bad. It's not. And you can get quite a bit out of that, but... and that item find is a lie, by the way. It's just displayed that way. I want to go to Bulgaron. I want to equip this ring for the 3 stamina it gives me. But there's some other things I'm looking to change. Actually, real quick, let's switch over in my document. I was going to do that at the beginning of the thing, but let's see if we can grab this here. And we'll just turn this on and that off. Hey, there it works. Okay, so version 1.5.3, it's work progress. None of this is like necessarily final. So I talked about the katana backstep, 41 to 54. So it's about 13 frames. That's keyframes. So what is that? 13 over 30. It's about 0.43 seconds minimum of iframes. And 0.43 seconds is not a lot. So it is something that you'd have to be prepared for. You'd want to get that strike in and then kind of bounce backwards, and then you get a double strike. So you do have to commit to it. You're getting the iframes for committing to kind of a triple strike and a backstep. Damage reduction was preserved in a previous patch down here. Damage reduction while ragdoll has been removed. This is only while ragdolled getting another hit in, and it was 50% damage reduction on top of all other damage reductions. I'm looking to kind of remove a lot of ragdolls from non-bosses. A lot of knockups, knockbacks, knockdowns, bounces, pushes, flips, and turns, and whatever else you want to call them. They're all ragdolls, sure. There's a lot of them in this game on regular enemies. While they do make sense, you don't get to really respond from them. It's one thing if you were pushed around and you had response, but you don't really get to respond from them. And in the first game, if you got hit by something, you would go into a downed state. And so, like, you get hit by the Sodden Knight's lightning, and he would fling you up in the air, you'd fall down, you were basically immune to damage the entire time you're being moved. In the ragdoll state. That is more or less how I want to treat ragdolls in the future, is a little bit more like Sanctuary for this mod. And so one of the things is it's going to be a damage reduction in the future, but it's probably going to be closer to an iframe, so that if you're hit by specific things, you can be pinballed, but other things... like you can be hit multiple times, but other things you can't. So an example of this is the tornado. If you get caught in the tornado from the Aeromancer, we're going to be seeing him probably today. If you get caught in the tornado, you won't be able to be hit by things outside the tornado. You'll just take the tornado damage and fall down. And that's kind of how I'm looking at it. The tornado damage to me is kind of more of a grab. And so I want to treat it that way, where it's kind of this scripted event where you're kind of invulnerable from the outside effects. But you might get pinballed into the tornado by another effect. That kind of thing. And then the tornado itself doesn't really need to do a lot of damage. It's already kind of itself a ragdoll. And so it's just kind of the, you failed at something. We don't need to punish you further. We don't need to double down on the failure. And so the tornado doesn't necessarily need to do a ton of damage. You need to do some because it is a failure state. But let's say, the wind guy, he can knock you around, but maybe it doesn't pull you out of your animations. Maybe it just pushes you into the tornado a little bit instead of flinging you into the tornado and making you unable to act. And so those are some of the things that I'm thinking about. Putting a little bit more control into the game so that you're not feeling like you're constantly stunned, staggered, flipped, moved, whatever, in an unrecoverable state. Another thing that I'm trying to do in regards to kind of giving player control is I'm trying to give grab attacks a minimum timer. I've added it, but it doesn't really work the way I want it to. It just doesn't. So it's not quite working right. It's only working on the fire spider, and the fire spider already kind of has some minimum timing built into the grab attack. So the fire spider will only leap at you from a certain distance. And while I've been irritated by the fire spider before, so it was my go-to to test, it really does come down to you have to be a certain distance from the spider for it to leap. It does do 6 hits of half damage, so it is quite a lot of damage if you do get grabbed. If it's a normal hit is a double hit at 12 in my testing on my character, a different character than this. But then you get 6 hits of 6 damage, which is 36. So it's like 24 versus 36. And it's just kind of that kind of stuff. And so is it a lot of damage? No. Could it be reduced? I don't know. But everything has already been kind of reduced. So I want to be careful about double reducing things or whatnot. So it already has a timer within its animation of when the grab is available. Again, I want to give you more control. So one of the things I've talked, if you're in my channel, you'll see some of my musings on how I might do this. One of the things I might do, and I've discussed with at least one person, is giving a 0.1 second escape timer to grab attacks. Maybe not to certain things like the final boss. The idea that you shouldn't be getting grabbed. But the idea is that there's just this small window where if the enemy gets kind of this nearly frame perfect instant grab, such as like the final boss or even the little dagger dudes in the DLC area, you can be in melee range. They'll leap at you, grab you, and instantly grab you. And there's nothing you can do about it. And then you have no iframes when you're recovering from that grab. So if there's a second little dagger dude, little assassin dude, he can leap at you and grab you while you're standing up and you still haven't been able to make an action. That's bad in my opinion, because it leads to this chain effect of you have no control. Players do not generally like not having control in a form of entertainment media that is all about being able to control and interact with it. It's one thing to not have control of a movie. It's another thing to not have control of a video game. So naturally, but so grab attacks are going to have some tweaks, probably some invulnerability frames after a grab, so that when you're standing up, you're not just getting grabbed instantly or knocked down. Same thing with just kind of anything ragdolly. If you're standing up from getting knocked down, you should probably have just 0.1, 0.2 seconds of iframes, just so that you can get back up without just being chain attacked. And I think that'll solve both issues with a simple thing. And that more or less was in the first game. So I'm not doing anything extravagant here. I talked about this, but I want to give Vanguard shield attacks blocking. The idea would be is that if a block goes off, there might be some stamina cost, but it might be a flat amount of stamina or a percentage of your maximum stamina or something like that. But the block percentage of the shield would be added to that situation, and you'd have hyper armor. You would not be block stunned. You're not getting a perfect block. You're not getting negative 200 stamina from blocking a big hit. And so it would give you this opportunity to kind of tank a hit in the middle of a combo. Again, kind of like the katana. This is a full iframe, so I don't want the Vanguard to feel left out with something that gives a lot of negative stats. I know I'm jumping around here. And then this is the memories can now spawn. And these numbers are not final. I'm very heavily debating these numbers, but the idea is that this says it starts at 0%, but really it's starting at like level 9 or 10, and it's like 1.5% and it goes to 3%. But these percentages probably shouldn't increase past a certain point. That's something that hasn't been coded in. So really I want to cap on them, you know, something to like 8% maybe on this, and 4% on this, and 2% on this, and we'll see how that goes. But the idea is that once you're in New Game Plus, these mats would start dropping kind of consistently. Materials mats. And I already talked about some nerfs to numbers in that. But anyways, yeah, so grab attack, small timer, maybe at the beginning, maybe at the end, maybe both. And then maybe also possibly and or having a capacity to escape. So you tapped the roll button, you got grabbed kind of like 1 frame before you tapped the roll button. So, you know, 0.1 seconds is 6 frames of leniency. So maybe we're saying, you know, 0.9 seconds, or excuse me, 0.09 seconds, something like 5 frames of leniency, where if you rolled, you escape the grab attack immediately because you rolled at the exact same time, basically, but your input was, you know, a frame or 2 behind kind of thing, so that you can respond. So those are kind of some of my goals. There's some other goals in here. You can see some down, where are they? You know, some hyper armor stuff. When I say hyper armor, I mean the capacity to either not get ragdolled or knocked down or staggered, but I also mean something like momentum. If you do like a jump kick and something hits you while in midair, it shouldn't fling you backwards as if you were standing still, is my opinion on that. So if you have forward momentum, the ragdoll should be semi-canceled out. You have momentum, you're going forward. Same thing, if you're doing like a downward stab, like I've got this drop attack thing, I want to put some hyper armor on this drop attack. So I don't necessarily want you to never get staggered in this quote hyper armor. But it's probably going to be something closer to kind of this minimum value of something. If you're doing a drop attack and you're getting hit by an arrow or a single little damage effect, and you have 0 poise or 5 poise or 11 poise and whatever, again, you're falling down. You shouldn't be getting thrown sideways because you got hit by something midair, unless it's actually something big. And so I think ragdoll effects are probably overused, or at least they maybe have too much force of being applied. And so the idea would be kind of cancel that out with a little bit of the player's momentum and trajectory, so to say, math in there. So if you're falling down and you're stabbing and you get staggered out of it, you should go into a down state and still fall basically straight down at normal speeds, probably. You know, stuff like that. The drop attacks having a time frame on them. This is not working. I thought it was working. I tested it in the past. Could not figure out if it was working because of the damage numbers kind of popping up inside of an enemy. We're going to go switch back to the game. We'll actually play the game instead of just sitting on that menu. I'm sure you'll appreciate that. Hopefully you'll appreciate me playing the game instead of just looking at patch notes. So there's some little things I want to do. A lot of them are kind of big comparatively. Oh, there's another thing. Grabbing a ledge. I want to fix ledge grabbing a little bit. So if you're falling like this, and there is an enemy there, their hitbox, their collision box, can actually push you right over the edge, kind of like right there, right? So if you're falling and you're pushing to the right, because you can fall to the right, right? This is not... Got some coyote cartoon movement there. If you're falling and you're trying to grab a ledge and there's something on that ledge kind of blocking you, I want you to be able to have kind of a mild push, and this is going to be true of all things all the time. If you're pushing forward, this kind of goes with momentum, I guess. If you're pushing forward... let's see if it actually exists. So if I push forward, he does move back slightly. You see this? But it's not very noticeable. And so I want to kind of mess with that too. And that's a momentum thing where... Let's heal up. That was kind of a lot of damage. Where if you are kind of pushing into something, especially if you're not attacking, but if you're pushing into something, it gets out of the way just a little bit. And I think that's a good thing, because it would lead to a lot less body blocking in general, but it would lead to being able to kind of grab those ledges. So if something's standing on this ledge and I leap up, you know, there could be a... Oh, don't kill myself, please. There could be a little push here as well, so that they can't knock you off the ledge right there. There's no iframes at the moment, but you can imagine some iframes. Well, there might be some iframes at the moment. But you can imagine some iframes when you're kind of climbing up the ledge too. And completely off topic, I've been playing Deadlock a bit, a good deal actually lately, and as kind of a thing to break the silence of my life sometimes. And do I want this? Do I want that? I want that. Sorry, I realized I didn't probably have the right thing equipped here. Item find, free ammunition, chance to pierce, walk, run, speed, item find. Item find is good. I'm gonna keep the item find. Oh, that's pretty good. Pretty solid. What's this one? Poise. We got 5 poise, not too much. That should probably be 10 poise. But yeah, momentum and kind of some push mechanics should help. Ledge guarding, as long as they're not hitting you. See what our arrow does. 14 versus 12. Well, they're both physical, so that makes sense. Ow. It's harder for me to talk while I'm actually fighting a boss. Let's get my stamina back up. Stamina in the mod, I mentioned this in the previous segment, that stamina in the mod is kind of more vanilla. Same with a lot of the ragdoll, all the ragdoll effects and stuff. Ow. Okay. I've beaten that boss in the past with like a level 2 on... Melee damage versus the attack speed. I like the attack speed better. Get a fast travel shrine here. We're gonna go get the Magnuson supply. Magnuson. I don't know if it's supposed to be like mage power or magnets or some reference to science. I'm not really sure. I'd have to ask the dev. There's a bag of silver here we just picked up. I want to replace like all the bags of silver with memories as well. I've said that in the past, but we'll get there. So we got here, we want to put some of these up here. Then we have some quicker traversal areas. Of course, this leads directly to the next hunt. Do I want to do it? Let's just go ahead and do it. It's doing the tornado above my head. Oh yeah, here's another thing. Enemies that spawn in can kind of attack instantly. There you go. A shield enemy actually losing his shield. I know, it's amazing, isn't it? No, I actually really appreciate that change for myself, even though I am the one that made it. Give me a memory on Ash Pure. Well, you're really preoccupied over there. I'm just going to take the advantage of this situation here. When enemies are spawning in there, I want to make a new rule for that. I haven't figured out what I want to do there, but the idea is that if you can't damage them, they shouldn't be able to damage you. That was an amazing dodge. Such an easy boss. I mean, what? No, seriously, I don't think the Aeromancer is that difficult. I have beaten him a lot, though. So that is a bias statement to some degree. Melee reach. Bye, Wind Guy. It was nice knowing you. And we'll just do this. Whee! Ow. My poor ankles. Don't know why I came all the way over here, but you know. I guess technically I could go down there, but I will die down there if I go down there. My chances of dying are just way too high down below. So I am not going to risk that because I'm just not. Okay, we've got maximum rage, poison attack, cold attack, fire attack. Yeah, so none of these are very useful. We'll do this just to have a dagger. It gives like 10% stamina regeneration or 20% stamina regeneration when you normally cannot regenerate stamina. That is all it does. Stamina regeneration ring. I do want that instead of a max stamina ring. So this probably stacks with that. Anyways, but yeah, in the future, I want to make it so that, let's see here. Oh, we can use the High Blades gloves. Yeah. Oh. We've gotten enough endurance now. We'll wear the hat. We'll actually reveal our head. Let's reveal our head. No, hide helmet off. Let's see here. We got some different weapons. We could... Brutish Blade, Crude Great Blade, Wooden Scythe. I just don't want to use the generic katana the whole time, you know. That's not exciting. Anything I want to buy? Just buy all these. There's the chef's apron. Yeah, nothing of real value I can buy here other than just more salt. Oh, I can, I guess, use this medium bag of silver. Yay! We'll use this, and we'll use this, and we'll use this. We'll use that. And get a whole nother level up. Not quite very valuable for the other two, but whole nother level up. I don't know what I want. I want to keep my vitality low on this run so that I can test the damage system that I built near the end of the last run. Glaives could be fun. I don't know where the first glaive is, though. Maybe I need to look that up. Duelist. Dexterity. Will. Just need one, really, so we'll just do that. Now we can use glaives. Again, I don't know if we have access to one until kind of the end of Act 2. I mean, I can craft one, I think, but it wouldn't be mundane, so... let's see here. That's a half spear. That's a half spear. That's a hammer. Yeah, glaives are... Purge artifacts. Let's see here. We want to purge... We'll purge the reach one. And the damage one. And that's an alchemy one. Max stamina. Rolling speed, damage blocked. Keep the green one. I'll crush that one. No, I don't want to combine memories. I want to bolster. Okay, let's see here. Item find and walk speed, not so much. I mean, that could be good, but... rolling speed and health per second. Attack speed. Let's do the attack speed. So 7.0. I'm guessing this is going to get in like 0.25. Yeah, so it didn't round properly there. It is supposed to round to the nearest 0.25, I think. That's probably not what I want it to do for everything. So I might need to do that on a per stat basis because of that. Oh yeah, there's also the fact that we hit level 6 on that incantation. Player info. Is there a highest level mage? I thought there was a highest level mage. Devoured 5 mages, but I thought there was a highest level. Anyways. I think that's going to be it for this episode, or this segment, whatever you want to call it. Got some more potions here. Neat. Now we have as many potions as the base game starts with. Ooh, let's see if this works. Sometimes these pick up incorrectly, so let's see if these pick up correctly. Beloved idol. Yep, it picked up incorrectly. I know I fixed that in the past, so I don't know what's broken, but... They're picking up as old artifacts instead of new artifacts for some reason. And I'm not entirely certain why. I'll just pick it up and see what it is. Yeah, so 1, these are supposed to be like level 10. They're way too high level for when you're picking them up. They're supposed to be like level 10 and just kind of random, but I need to do a lot of things with artifacts. I don't know when the last time we saved was, so I am going to actually Alt F4 to not save, so that I can potentially test that and fix that in between now and next time. If you made it to here, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. hope you come back again to continue this escapade of random mod changes for this game. Until then, take care.